live. Hello, everyone, social media land. I'm Dr. Cody Goldman. This is Selah and Michelle. Say hi.
Hi.
All right, and we are now we're officially live on Instagram too. So I'm really excited. I want to come on, and I love doing these patient spotlights. Some of our most successful members, and I had one of our patients, Selah, had just, oh my gosh, such gems every single day that I was like wishing that the rest of the women in our country could hear. And I'm going to start this off by saying, this is Thanksgiving week. You see in the back, I've got my daughter back there. So, hi, Lily. I want to start this off by saying I had a huge revelation over the weekend. And part of this is working with so many women. I've been doing this for several years now. And, I had a big aha about the Fast 40. What's the Fast 40 really about? And so I just want to start this off by saying the Fast 40 started off as this health program and weight loss program. But what it's really become is helping people to love themselves again. I want my daughter to grow up in a world where it's not normal to starve yourself as a woman, to think you need to be healthy to starve yourself. I want her to grow up in a world where it's not normal to inject drugs into your body to be healthy. To me, that it is screwed up. And so I feel so passionate about this. And this is kind of the first time I'm actually sort of connecting this together. It gives me so much motivation and drive of I want this to be a household name. And so that's why I do the Fast 40. And it's why I even do these lives, is people don't know the truth. So let's move into this because Selah is on, I think, day like 18 of our program.
I am. Yeah, day 18.
Yeah, day 18. Okay, good. So just first of all, Selah, I want to ask, can you share before these days, like what did you feel like before doing this? What did you feel like mentally, physically, emotionally, like day to day? And you know what I mean? What did you try to do to even lose the weight before this?
Yeah, so I'm 46. It's always hard to say that, but I am 46 years old. And as a former college athlete, I am, always pushing myself. But more recently, I would say within the past year, definitely the past 6 months, something changed. I don't know if I'm perimenopausal, whatever, but it is. But everything, your blood work is still great. Your doctors are like, hey, it looks good. And you're like, something is jacked up in my body. Something's not working. And so, of course, you reach back to all the things that used to work, and all the things that used to work don't work. They just don't. Nothing works. You can't work out hard enough. You can't eat less. You can't eat right. You can't go no carbs. You can't go, fasting. You can't, all the things. You're like, oh my gosh, nothing works. In the past 6 months, I had, we own a law firm. And so I've had one or two cases, especially one case that was just overwhelming. Just unbelievable. So the stress, really took its toll on my body, and I gained 17 pounds as a result of it. I was like, what the heck? But I wasn't eating to match that, right? Like, so if I was, throwing down a bottle of wine and a large pizza every night, I earned it. I own it. I'll wear it with pride. But to eat cottage cheese and, blueberries every day for lunch, and to track my macros and hit 160 grams in protein and walk my 10,000 steps and hit the gym and see weight piling on, especially in areas I'd never had it, like my stomach. I never had a stomach weight. And so it was really frustrating. And I think that's what, brought me to this program, was just the sheer and utter frustration of all the things that used to work not working, and just not feeling right. So, I felt tired. I felt sluggish. I felt none of my clothes fit. I had to buy new clothes, which was wildly frustrating. And especially as a person, I'm pretty self-motivated. And there was no workout I could do, no calorie burn. It just didn't matter what I ate, what I did. I couldn't lose weight or pack them on, or I'd flirt with these same 4 to 6 pounds. And you're like, yay up, yay down. You're like, it's all over the place. So.
Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful. So Selah, before we met, I want to look at this then, because there's so many women that, and what you have to say is so important, especially coming from you. What did you believe about your body and weight loss, especially like as a woman in your 40s before this? Like, what were the beliefs you had? Some people were like, I believe I starved myself. My body, you know what? It just wants to hold weight. What did you believe?
All those things. Like I said, a couple of years ago, I did a plan, and I had been CrossFitting continuously and I was gaining weight. I was like, what the heck, right? Like
Uh,
that doesn't even, it's nonsensical. Then I realized it's probably your cortisol. So I did a program where it's really cut me back to like 1,200 calories a day. And then I lose the weight, totally did. And in 3 months, I lost 30 pounds. I was down to my goal weight. But as soon as I started eating real food again, it
yeah.
rolled right. It started just slightly, ever so slightly rolling back up. And I was starving Marvin. I mean, I was so hungry. It wasn't sustainable by any stretch, right? So
Yeah.
I think that was one of the issues is, I just could no longer do what I was doing. And then that jacked up my metabolism. So in addition to getting into my mid 40s where all kinds of craziness happens and no one can even explain it, um, I had no metabolism. So I'm like, I'm living off 900 calories a day and still gaining weight. I'm like, for the love of all that's holy, that's it. It's just straight water from here on out. Right. So it's a
Right.
wildly frustrating place to find yourself. And so
Yeah.
now I'm literally like having to rehabilitate myself to burn again. And that's what's been so cool. I'm like, I can't believe I'm eating food.
Yes, but beautifully said. So that was you nailed it right there. So interesting enough, the diets, the diets. Let's go through paleo, keto, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig. The under eating and overworking out is what literally screws up someone's metabolism.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's interesting, like, and by the way, this is not a new thing. We've known this we've had this in our brain wiring for 25,000 years. If you starve yourself and overwork out, you will definitely lose weight. But you said it exactly. See, the moment you start eating again, your body piles the fat back on.
Right.
But it's important to understand why. Like, why do you think your body puts the fat back on?
Well, I've been living in starvation mode, right? So as
Yeah.
soon as you feed it, it starts storing it as fat. And you're like, no, 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 don't store that as fat. But it stores everything as fat. So even though I'm eating high protein cottage cheese and all the things, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Nope. Whoop. Wonder what happened to Selah. There you go. There you go. What happened?
Why do they call only when you're in these moments? So when you start feeding and fueling your body again, it's holding on to everything. So I was doing myself such a disservice. And it really jacked me up for a while.
And I want to kind of point to the why behind that. Why does it do that? Because your body loves you. That's why it's storing fat, because you just freaking starved it. So your brain thinks you're in survival mode. So it's going, wait a minute, let's put more fat on because I love you for the next time you go into survival mode.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks their body's working against them, and it's quite the opposite. It is literally love, your body loving on you.
Yeah.
So that's really a huge thing. That's really, really big. And so let's ask you this then. You've had so many, the ahas I really want to go through. And by the way, let's mention, if we haven't, Selah's down 11 pounds, about 10.7 pounds in 18 days. And let's put that in perspective. Yeah, that's huge. Let's put that in perspective. I have someone that I just talked to last week who's been doing Ozempic, or one of the GLP-1s, he was tirzepatide, for 6 months. And she's down 15 pounds in 6 months. Okay. And what she's learned is that if I just inject myself, and you don't have to eat right, you don't have to exercise. The problem is when you get off those injections, that's right. When you get off the injections, the weight just comes piling back on, right? No, we're still here. We're still here. So that's important. Can you still hear it, Selah? Oh, she's probably just in different. There we go. Yeah, we're here. I don't know if you can hear us. So that's important to be able to kind of see, because looking at 11 pounds, most people don't lose 11 pounds in an entire year. We can still hear you.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, she can't hear us. That's right. We'll let her work at it. Maybe she has to log back in, log back on. I'll send her a message to log back in, so that way.
I think I've lost audio. Sorry.
That's okay.
You can log back in and log back on. So anyway, I'll keep kind of going through this because it's important. That's important to be able to kind of see that most people have been starving themselves and under eating, and that's what's screwing up the metabolism. But because that's been what's been ingrained in us, right? So this is actually probably I didn't get a chance to actually, Michelle, introduce you, right? So we should just say Michelle is our head Fast 40 coach. and with the fast 40. So Michelle, just want to, since we're Selah's come back on, just want to, is there anything you want to say?
No, I think this is great. Thank you, Cody. And, Selah, I'm just so impressed by you. And I know we're about to like get into your mindset and the heart set behind doing this. But I heard, this has been such an incredible journey because I've been in women's empowerment for 15 years. But the one piece, I do women's body empowerment, but from a confidence mindset level, partnering with Cody allows me to add that missing facet, the missing piece of the full body. So I help women with their being, their body, their brand, their beloved, but the body part I've worked at different levels through sickness, through things in my own, but Cody is a dialed in system. Cody, you have a dialed in system. So it really is an honor. And I'm just so excited for this level of being able to be involved.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So Selah, we're back in. You can hear us now. So, okay.
Sorry.
What is, no, it's fine. It's fine. What is, there's a few of these, but give us one of the big aha moments. There's probably several, but in the last 18 days, what are some of the aha moments you had that's completely changed how you see body and weight loss?
Food is fuel. It's not bad. Food is good. Food tastes good. It's okay to eat the right food. I think that's the biggest thing you have to kind of train yourself is it's okay. It's okay to eat. You're supposed to eat for the love of all that's holy. You're supposed to eat, right? And so your body wants you to eat. That's been a big, not even an aha. It's kind of a duh, like duh.
I know. See, like this. Let's not bypass though. What you just said. I want people to really, because I think people could listen. The women could hear what you said and just bypass it. What you just said was, food is fuel, and you're supposed to eat. Like, it sounds like a duh, but it's really an aha, because the male-driven weight loss industry has lied to women. That's
we were never taught. That's it.
Yeah.
And it is, I'm glad you reiterate it. Cody, you have a good analogy with a car. Like, what's the analogy you say about if you're driving your car across the country?
Yeah, it's kind of like what's really, if we drove, if we live in California or drove to New York, right? And there's a certain amount of gas you need, but if you end up driving your car twice as fast, it'd be weird to judge that you have to stop more for gas. We know if we drive faster, we need to stop more for gas. But that'd be like, you know what? I'm trying to cut back on gas. And so what we have our bodies do, we try to drive our bodies really fast and not fill up the tank
with fuel.
And so that's right. So food is fuel. So I love that. I just want to stop because it's actually a profound thing. It sounds like a duh, but it's actually an aha. Food. And what's funny is food is, and let's actually call it, food is calories. And calories are what have been labeled as the bad thing for people for, I don't know, 100 years or something. Like, calories are literally a measurement of unit of heat energy. So we don't call energy bad, but when we associate with food, we've been calling it bad. So literally, if you want to have energy, you need more energy units. You need more calorie units. So, okay, keep going, Selah.
No, that's huge. And it's so good. I'm a dork like that. So I love science. Was one of my majors in college was exercise science. So I love science, but even what I do for a living, with digging in and finding the why and the root of it, right? I think that's the big one, is go to the root of it. We as women, especially as we age, again, I say all the things that we used to do don't work, and they don't. And I don't know. And listen, when you're in your 20s and even in your 30s, you're blessed because your body's still moving and shaking. But things, once you hit like 40 something, it just starts changing, and those things don't work. So it's important to kind of just, go with it. But food it's all fuel. It's so good. It's good for you. Good to remember that it's okay to eat. Good to remember that, you have to look at things through a different lens, especially as you age. But we have been taught that as women, especially, we'll starve ourselves all day. And then, but I only ate one meal. And I was like, and now in retrospect, you think, oh, I only had time to eat one meal. Well, that's great. But that one meal has really stored up in your body, right? It did it on purpose. It stored it. And so it didn't behoove you to eat that 600 calories for the day, because you totally should have eaten way more food and burned. You would have burned more, right? It's nonsensical to us as women, as you pointed out, Michelle, that we're trained to, like, you've got to eat less and all these things. And it's so crappy, and it's horrible, that even your doctors are the ones who will say, well, eat less. It's just, it doesn't jive with what's really going on.
What I like what you said, Selah, earlier, it's like what once we thought worked doesn't work anymore. And whether it worked or not, a lot of it, like Cody was saying, was built on these false lies. And there's a saying I like bringing to the forefront: a rubber band once expanded never goes back to its original size. From like, once you know what you started discovering in the program, and like how the body works, food is fuel, like sleep and rest, and like paired, like you can't unsee it. And so I think when more of us women start to lead, like with leadership with our own bodies, and kudos to you for saying yes to yourself, to invest in yourself in this program and getting amazing results, like that takes a lot of courage and strength and bravery to even say yes. And you've done that. And so you realize like you're a new version. The rubber band has expanded beyond whatever once worked. So we have to be willing to do, and I'm sure there's a good quote, Cody, with the 10x is easier than 2x. Like we can't do the things the way we used to do it.
Right.
And it was built on falsities anyway. So
yeah, it's an interesting perspective. I was just thinking about what you said, Selah, because so many women, I've heard that over and over again. What I used to do doesn't work anymore. And we're saying it's because of age. But let's really look at that real quick, because if what we were doing was starving ourselves and it was working, is it because of age it doesn't work? Or is it because our body does not want us to punish ourselves anymore? Because what we're calling getting older, is it really getting older? Or is our body going, please stop punishing me? I need food. Stop overworking me out. So that's where I started realizing it's actually not someone actually getting older.
Yep.
And it's almost like there's a wisdom there.
Yeah.
It's like, can you imagine if in your 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, if you could still starve yourself, your aging process would just happen so much faster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. Just looking at it from that angle, it kind of takes away the I'm getting older and things aren't working, right? So that's kind of interesting. So I was going to ask, how has your relationship with your body shifted since starting, like, this actually hormone focused, like loving your body approach?
Gosh, a lot. Loving my body and loving myself. Maybe that's even the bigger one too, is I think the love for yourself is what will have to propel you through this program. And proving to yourself that you can do hard things. That's always been a big thing for me. Do it when it's hard. Everybody can do the easy things, right? If it's easy, it's cheap, as you liken it to women or whatever you want to call it. Seriously, right? It's got to be worth the battle. So I think that's a big thing, is love yourself enough to do it. Love yourself enough to do it because you said you would. That's a really big thing. I think I said before is, I'm mindful of, I have two boys, one just graduated college and one is 17. But I'm mindful that my kids are watching. And so when I say I'm going to do something, follow through and do it, because the program is amazing. It's so flipping easy. And I'll give so many kudos and to you soon.
Yeah.
But do it because you owe it to yourself, because you respect yourself enough, because you paid a lot of money, so you can pay a lot of money and not go anywhere with it and poo-poo it. But in the end, you're the one to blame. It's so easy to follow, but love yourself enough. And that's probably the biggest thing, is to set up boundaries with food, with times you eat, all the things. None of that stuff's hard. It's not easy, but it's not hard. But I think at the end of the day, I'm super stoked to be losing inches and in addition to pounds, but I would just encourage everyone, a woman especially, because we pour so much. Not that men don't pour out, you guys are amazing, but women, we just do. That's who we innately are. We pour into everyone and everything and everybody, and we're the last man on last man standing. We're the last man on to get anything. And so when you pour into yourself and love yourself enough to stay committed, then you're able to pour into others, right? And it's just, you can't not. It just changes who you are.
Yeah, and how let's say for people, because many people don't know what the Fast 40 is. When you say loving yourself, what specifically are you doing that's loving yourself now? What have you changed?
Well, I'm following the program.
What specifically?
Yeah, I eat at certain times a day, and I'm guarded, and I have boundaries as to that.
So you choose to eat on time.
I do.
So that's an actual loving thing. Like, Selah, what you're kind of like, yeah, I eat on time. This is profound for someone listening. You choosing to eat on time is like mind blowing. Like, wait a minute, why would you do that?
Right.
Your body relies on you to eat on time. Just like when you're driving across the country, if you don't fill up for gas on time, you might miss the gas station. So I just want to say that. So what else? What was the other ones? Eating
In
enough.
terms of eating enough, definitely even eating enough, eating on time, really honoring, again, I go back to honoring yourself, loving yourself, honoring the program, honoring your commitment. That's big for me. If you say you're going to do it, flipping do it. And prove to yourself that at the end, it's only 40 days. I've been screaming to myself, like, there's no prohibition. We're 2 days out from Thanksgiving. Listen, turkeys and mashed potatoes are not going to be gone at the end of my 40 days or 50 days or 100 days or whatever. They're not going anywhere, right? It's always going to be there. Cookies and cakes and pies and all the things are still going to be there. There's nothing coming out that's saying we're pulling all the crappy food or the fun food or holiday food off the shelves forever. No, it's always there. So love yourself and honor yourself enough to be committed. Eat enough. Oh my goodness gracious. What a huge thing. It's so nonsensical. Like what we talked about before about fueling your body. Like, oh my gosh, who would have thought that, you're supposed to eat a lot of food. Your body needs it.
That's so
But yeah,
good.
eating on time is a big one. Boundaries for me. I set my alarm. I'm like, yeah, I don't, if my family's eating at 7, I eat at 6. Whatever, it's okay. It didn't break our relationship. My food, I weigh out all my food. I honor myself by weighing out all my food. So I know exactly how much I'm eating. It's not like, well, it kind of looks like it. I'm like, no, I know what it looks like, but I'm still going to weigh it because I'm honoring myself in the program. I'm eating the right foods. I'm staying on the food list. It's not that hard. You get to pick it. It's not like you're saying eat this pile of or this bag of crap and then you get one meal a day. You get to choose your food, right? Prepare in advance so that you don't set yourself up for failure. All of these things are so key. We're wildly busy, crazy busy, and everyone is. But don't set yourself up for failure.
Yeah, I want to ask you because many people are hearing you say, "Hey, just do it and follow through." If you had to explain to a friend, how is this different from a diet?
It's not a diet. It's a meal plan. It's a way of life. I think it's just a way of eating a different way that your body will honor you by losing inches and pounds. So I think that's if you would like for your body to honor you, do these things. I think our bodies, and I think people as humans, we know this. If you've ever had a baby, we like to be on a schedule, right? Like, I know a lot of us, we rebuff schedules and think, oh, it can't do that. But actually your body's super duper happy when you are. So eating on time and on a schedule, my body's happy. I'm not making it wonder at, 2 p.m. if I'm going to eat lunch today because I ate it at 12 or 12:30. I give myself like a 1-hour window. I mean, stuff happens. If I have to go somewhere, I eat like 20 minutes earlier, whatever. So I think putting myself on a regimen is honoring myself, honoring the program. So it's not that hard. My tips would be, if you're going to do this, you're going to eat at certain times a day, pick your times. You're going to measure your food without fail. Everything you eat, be true to the program, only eat when you're supposed to eat and on your plan. Like I can honestly sit here and tell you that I haven't had one morsel, lick, nothing. And I've even gotten donuts from my family, which is crazy. I was like, can I smell them? They smell really good, but they don't smell good enough to make me take a bite to not lose weight for 2 days. Sorry. Because again, the donuts aren't going anywhere. So it's little things like that change your mindset.
You're learning your body too, like the relationship. You're building a beautiful, beloved ship with your body, and that's like, I don't know, priceless, right? After all these years as women, when we just didn't know how to treat our body or how to honor it. And I mean, you're 18 days in, right? So what is like 1 or 2 big things you've learned about yourself in just 18 days?
Gosh, I've learned again that I can do hard things, especially this time of year, right? You're surrounded by all the things. I have learned that I can't believe I'm eating this much food and losing. So that's been tough. Like kind of laughing at the food that I'm eating and going, oh my gosh, or man, I'm full and I still have to eat fruit. Holy Moses. I'm learning to love myself enough to stay committed. I'm learning food tastes really good. It doesn't need to be hidden with sugars and all the other things. I'm learning I haven't actually missed butter or fat at all. I'm totally cool with it. Lots of little things like that are kind of duh, like, well, duh, but it's not duh. It's totally revelatory, and it's super simple. I think that's the other thing too, is we as women, most people, we overcomplicate everything, right? It seems like so daunting. I can't do that, but it's as simple as taking one step at a time. It's simple of, day 1 begets day 2, begets day 3, begets day 18. The further you get into it, the better you feel. It's super exciting to start losing right away. When you get results right away, that keeps you motivated to keep going. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can do this. Like, my body's finally responding in a healthy way. It's super exciting, actually.
Yeah, you're I was going to ask you, Selah, because one of the reasons I asked you to say what's the difference between a diet, because when people hear us talking, on live, they're thinking that we're people are starving themselves, and I want to make sure I reiterate, what you're saying is, I'm eating, and like one of your awareness is I've got to eat more. Like this is the opposite of dieting. Dieting doesn't work. So I do want to ask, 11 pounds, 18 days, what other changes are you noticing besides just the scale, like energy, sleep, mood, cravings, clothes, like confidence? Like, yeah, talk to us about that.
Absolutely. Energy. I'm not getting the afternoon slump. I'm extremely busy in mental capacity. We draft legal. We do litigation, so I'm drafting legal briefs and writing, and constantly thinking I have to think 5 steps ahead, if this then that, and constantly strategizing. So it's a lot of brain power. I don't think you really realize. I don't never realized it until I thought about it. I'm like, crap, I'm doing a lot of work. So eating a lot of food. I'm eating 7 ounces of like lean meats, 7 ounces of vegetables, and 7 ounces of fruit. And more recently, I've been out with family, and I've eaten, I literally snuck my food into a restaurant the other night and was like hiding it under my napkin and putting it on my plate when the server would not walk by. But my family, my dad was like, oh my gosh, how much more do you have? So that's been super cool. 7 ounces is a lot, y'all.
Yep.
But what I was, something I've noticed, and I know you're not supposed to, before, when we start this, as which is so awesome, you take your measurements, which just makes everyone groan and like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually that big. But 18 days in, I'm down, actually, I misspoke, I'm almost 3 inches smaller in each thigh. And I was like, wow. Holy Moses. I mean, I'm down 11 pounds, which as the athlete in me is like, yeah, but you could have done more. So that's amazing. But I think one thing that I forget, and probably most people forget, when you're doing this plan, even if you lose like a 0.2 or a 0.3, or you gain a 0.2 and then you bounce back, your body's it's a system. It happens, right? It's life. But it's cool to know that, holy Moses, I potentially may have lost 6 inches in, between both thighs. That's just my thighs. That's all I measured. And I'm like, what, in 18 days? That's nuts. So, I'm in Florida, so my shorts are looser, and I'm like, this is awesome. It's such a good feeling. Weight down, obviously, my face, I can tell in my face.
I can too. Yeah.
I can too.
Yeah,
I'm seeing your photos. Mm-hmm.
That's so funny. I'm starting to see muscle tone again. You're like, oh, hey, you are in there. Hey guys. So that I've seen, just everything, you just feel better. I can say that I feel better. With energy wise, I have a lot of energy. I'm sleeping better. With your mind always racing as it always is. And then you couple that with, hormone changes at mid 40s at 3 a.m. We all women at 45 or 43 to 47 should text each other because we're all awake. That's not been happening. I've been falling out, which is really refreshing for many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would just say from a global, like my holistically, my body's changing, not just in one little place. Like I'm dropping some weight, but I'm starving and I'm going to be, totally grouchy because I'm starving, but y'all have to get over it. Like, it's not that at all. I'm eating more than everybody else in my family. They're like, damn, you're going to eat that too? I'm like, yep, I am.
Yep. We hear that from so many of our patients, our female patients. They have a big problem at the end of the fast 40. They're down 20 pounds. They feel amazing. And the problem is they're judging themselves. Their friends are judging them for how much they're eating. And it's because their friends have been told the wrong thing.
Right.
And many of my female patients are eating more than their husbands and are maintaining 20, 25, 30 pound weight losses because they never knew that, because their husband's under eating also. Right. And so it's interesting to look at that. I was going to ask you, since we're in Thanksgiving week, how are you planning to approach Thanksgiving differently this year? Like, because you're learning about your body, you're learning how the hormones actually work. Age was never the problem. Right. It's so how are you going to approach it differently this Thanksgiving? Just curious.
Yeah. So initially I was thinking, well, I'm going to bring my food. I'm going to, I'll bring my vegetables and I'll bring my fruit, and I will, honor the hostess by eating her turkey. And then, you, Dr. Goldman, were like, well, wait a sec, do you? And so, no, actually, I'm not. I'm going to cook my own turkey that's cooked without butter or oils or anything.
Wow.
Like, I know, aha moment.
Yeah, right.
And I'm going to bring it, and no one's going to be offended, and no one cares. It's so funny how we overthink things or think that people care more than they do or notice more than we. It's so silly.
Right.
So I have turkeys thawing in my refrigerator. I'm going to be making my own turkey and weighing it out and bringing it. I'm going to be making my own vegetables. If there's a salad, maybe if I'm hungry, but I can't fathom it, but I'm going to bring my own vegetables, and I'm going to have my own fruits. So I'm doing turkey, and I'm going to do green beans, and I'm bringing apples with cinnamon because that's apple pie-ish. And there you go. Like,
Wow.
And I'll be the only man standing who's not feeling like dog crap at the end of Thanksgiving meal, right? Like, so,
and you'll release weight, like
right, and weighing more when they get up to go shopping the next morning.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, yay for going into Thanksgiving 11 pounds, hopefully more than that later. B, yay for leaving Thanksgiving not being heavier but lighter, so yeah, I'm actually super excited. But again, mashed potatoes and gravy and stuffing aren't going anywhere. So
wow, this is and I love this conversation right before, because this is the real deal. When I've done this so many times now, I remember as a kid, and you guys kind of reference your Thanksgivings and Christmases, okay? I remember as a kid that during the holidays, Thanksgiving specifically, for some reason, my family would not eat on time. Thanksgiving meal is 2 hours later. I remember at 10 years old thinking, why were we starving ourselves and waiting until 2 to start the meal? I don't get that. Is that some kind of tradition to starve yourself? First of all, it's not love. It's not love. But then the stuff we eat, I felt terrible. I started feeling that at 10 years old. And so for me, whatever reason, because I'm connected to the body, the human body has been my passion. And so it never made sense to me. The holidays felt terrible for me as a kid. I thought it's fun to have presents, but a lot of these foods. So it's interesting to kind of feel those decisions. I want to point out, just to remind people, like Selah's deciding to bring her own food. Now, when I even mention that to someone, the emotions that come up in that are very interesting. Because like you said, people are worried about being judged. So one of the things that I've noticed, and this is something I've come up with for myself, is I care more about myself than how someone feels about me. And that's an important thing, Selah, that some people never get to. But you were right when you said no one really cares about what you're doing. Everyone is so interested in themselves, they're not paying attention to you.
Yeah.
All the worries about it, right? So when we look at self-love, sometimes the loving things aren't done because we're worried about what someone else thinks about us. And so there's a pain and pleasure thing here where we go, I'm okay not fitting in and being weird. So that's kind of where I'm going with this whole thing is, Selah, welcome to being weird. You're a woman in your mid-40s and you have energy. Welcome to being weird. You're a woman that sleeps okay at night because you don't starve yourself in the day. Welcome to being weird. You're a woman that's dropping fat. So many women go to their doctor and their doctor tells them this sentence, word for word. Hey, doc, I'm losing weight. I'm gaining weight. I'd like to lose it. What should I do? And the doctor says, both male and female doctors have told my patients, it's normal to gain 5 pounds a year in your 40s. And therefore, that's what you do for the rest of your life.
No.
What a crock of shit.
It is, and I refuse to accept that. I have so many friends at the same age, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like that's a big deal. All of us, a lot of my friends, are either former athletes or have been, very active, and we're all collectively going, WTF, this is ridiculous. I have been active. I have a friend who was like, wait a second, I ran 18 miles today, and I gained a half a pound. Someone explain that to me. And so I'm thinking of all these, I have so many people who are in the same boat trying, and they're doing the same things. And it's so refreshing to be in this place.
Wow. I know. And that's really where I'm going with that is welcome to being weird. You're weird. You're healthy in your 40s and you're losing fat and feeling great. That is weird. And that's an odd thing that's even weird to be healthy. where my family lives in Louisiana, it is normal. If you don't have 30 pounds on you, something's wrong with you. Like you
Yeah.
don't fit in. I've never fit in down there, but most of our country is starting to go there. And so, yeah, I just love what you're saying so much, because I think this act of self-love, self-devotion, it requires you to detach from what other people think, because this is a part of, to me, as a woman, leadership. Like I'll always use that word, but leadership is leading your kids. You talked about with your boys. Kids do not listen to what you say. They do what you do.
Yep.
So what's interesting is you want to lead your family into health, then start learning how to work with your hormones, not against them. Start learning to actually do the things for your body that is loving. But most of our healthcare system is not showing people how to do things that are loving. So I love that you brought that piece of it up. Thanksgiving right now, we got a choice. You have a short-term dopamine release from having a pumpkin pie, and or whatever you have. You have a short-term. I mean, we're talking 90 seconds at the most of a high of dopamine. I feel good. And then hours of laying on the couch feeling terrible.
Yep.
It's really interesting, right? Very interesting.
It is. It's a crappy way to end the year and begin a new year. And maybe that's one of, the reasons I actually think it is. Talk about, just things coming together and they're at the right time. But I'm actually super stoked that I started this plan and started this mindset. Well, I don't even call it a plan. I'm going to call it a mindset. I'm going to start this mindset in the holidays because it's hard. Are we surrounded by food and all the things way more than normal? Yes. But it's so refreshing to think that I'm going to start a new year as a new version of me feeling better, not starting after the holidays. I'm glad I didn't punt and wait. I could have waited till after Thanksgiving or after Christmas, like everybody else, and then started back and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't. I honored myself enough to go, wait a second, you feel like crap now. You're really going to feel like crap after Thanksgiving. And you're going to be how much bigger by the time Christmas rolls around. And none of the fun things that you have are going to fit you because we're in Florida. So you never actually get to really wear a sweater. So it's like you can hide under your clothes all winter. And summer starts early in Florida. So I'm like, wait a second, why? Why do I have to wait in my brain until the new year to start a new me? Why? Start it now when it's hard, because then when things in the future feel hard, you're like, nothing was as hard as me denying myself that stuff because the future me was way more important. If you're a woman, there is nothing crappier to ruin your beach day than to have to try your bathing suit on and it doesn't fit, or to have your thighs slapped together while you go on a walk, or to have to put a cover up on because there's no way in Hades you're going to walk down the beach without a beach cover up on, right? And in that moment, I wish we could bottle that feeling as a woman and go, oh my gosh, I've got to lose weight. That's what you have to dig into and think about when you think about cookies and all the things that that you want to eat. When that becomes more important and you're like, not really your why, but a part of your why, it's easy to put that stuff down and go, wait a second, I hate feeling like that, right? Like, having been an athlete, I hate not being in shape. I hate not, having my, my once, it sucks when your pajamas are tight. Let me just get real. Like they're supposed to be loose. That doesn't make you feel good. It stinks when you put your bathing suit on from last year and it's holding on for dear life. It is not a pleasant feeling. It stinks. It sucks all the joy out of the room for getting ready to go to the beach, which is going to be super fun because your bathing suit is too tight. And so now for the rest of the day, you're super self-conscious because your bathing suit's too tight. So you've lost the entire day and all the beauty of the day because you're focused on your bathing suit too tight because you had to eat and you wouldn't love yourself enough to make a change. So I think that's like the big thing I would just tell people, love yourself enough just to make a change so that when those times come, you're like, dang, I'm so glad I did that back then, right? Because, what's the old adage, right? Like summer bodies are made in the winter. So love yourself enough to start change today. Do it today because, when we kick the can, it just keeps kicking down the road. And so do it before something bad happens and just to even feel better.
Ooh, I feel like those are kind of a mic drop, Selah. That was I wanted you to go on one of your rants because you have those rants with me on WhatsApp. And I'm like wishing the rest of the world could listen to that feeling, because I resonated with you as a man. Walking down the beach looking good in my bathing suit feels freaking amazing. And it's not, I'm like, I want to walk. I want people to see me with my 7-year-old daughter and I've got a ripped dad body. that there's no amount of pancakes and dopamine that makes me feel override that. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting. And then knowing I can run down the beach with her, running with her, because my belly's not flabbing up and down. Like there's nothing that's gonna make me eat that stuff, you know, and stop loving myself because of that, right? So it's so interesting to look at all that. So I love that. This is kind of tie in with what you just said. I was gonna ask you if you could go back and talk to yourself 5 years ago with what you kind of know just in these 18 days, what would you have told yourself 5 years ago?
Oh gosh. I think love yourself enough to change your mindset with respect to food and eating and all of the things. I wish I would have reverted back. Yeah, 5 years ago would have been, I don't know if I can't say if it's easier because, you know, your body does, you know, I don't know if it's easier, but I would have started sooner. I would have changed my mindset at 40 or 41 versus 46. You know, I think stress and all the things do take a toll on your body. You know, I think as our systems, you know, we can take so much, right? And then we hit a breaking point and we're like, holy Moses, that's it. Like, boom, done. And so I feel like my body has done that over 20 years of, you know, practice of law. Like, you know, you're like, listen, sis, I've taken some stress for a while, but I'm a little taxed right now. And I think our bodies do that even from exposure to toxins and all the stuff we put on our skin. Like you can filter out so much. And then you just kind of hit a place where you're like, okay, whoa, you know, things start really going awry. And so I would say, you know, another part of loving yourself is take care of yourself before it's a problem. You know, prepare for impact, perhaps, right? We're all going to die at someday. You know, God forbid, you know, we have any sort of a disease inflicted on us, but prepare for impact. You know, I would much rather, I want to be healthy. I want to be able to play with my grandkids. It's at 90. My grandmother's 92 and still walks daily and goes to the gym. I'm super blessed to have that in great genes, I guess, from that perspective. But, you know, she can get off the floor. She's 92. That's a big deal because there are women at 46 that can't get off the floor.
Bingo.
So love yourself enough to love the future version of you. And so prepare for impact. Like, prepare yourself to be healthier. If you do, because, you know, God forbid something happened, it's a heck of a lot easier for your body to deflect something, fight it off, or even even to receive treatment, things like that. You can fight off disease and things like that a lot better if you are already going into it healthy versus if you're going into it just full of toxins and overweight and all the things. Like your body's just like, listen, man, I'm already tired from what you've done to me, and you're going to put this on me? I don't know if I can do that.
That's huge. That's so big. Thank you, Selah, for saying all that. That, I mean, because it just, like I said, it means so much coming from you. When we get a little bit, if I kind of get a little bit serious with this, is that, you know, when you look at this, you mentioned about stressors. The number one toxin that people are ingesting that on purpose is sugar. And sugar is what's creating such inflammation. And so it's like your body gives you signs and feedback. When you have 5-10 pounds on, that was the initial sign that something's wrong. Mm-hmm. But I literally have people, I have no lie, people who've called me and said, my friend told me to do the fast 40 a year ago, and I now have cancer. Can I do the fast 40? And the answer is no. You can't do the fast 40. You have cancer now. You can't go and start losing fat. And so I say this not to scare people, but the truth. The cancer uses sugar to metastasize. Disease, the gut bacteria, the bad gut bacteria that screws up your system loves when you put pumpkin pie in. They love when you eat it. So forget even about dopamine hits. It's that you're literally creating dis-ease inside the body. So just want to say that to close it off. Selah, thank you so much. Maybe we'll do one of these at day 40 so we can hear your final results. Would that be cool?
That would be awesome. I would love to. Thank you so much for letting me share. And it's such an honor to even be asked. So thank you. Thank you.
That's
so much.
awesome. Okay.